One of the sweetest human beings you'll ever meet. Do you mind if I do something weird this take? What can I do to get on Erin's nerves the most? See if you can spot some other Hope Valley residents. His meme game is strong, as the kids would say. The kids don't say that. If Edwin can find a way to annoy every single resident in Hope Valley.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Heart in Motion podcast. I'm so excited to be chatting with Erik Gow today. Hi, Erik.
Hi, everybody. Great to be here.
For those of you that have been tuning in to the Hallmark Christmas movies on the weekends, we just got to see Erik in Christmas Above the Clouds this past weekend. So that was such a fun movie to check out. And I'm excited to talk with you about that. And of course, have to talk about When Calls the Heart. If I didn't, that would be a missed opportunity. So thanks for giving me the time today.
Fantastic. Yeah, it should be a fun time.
So you play Pip in Christmas Above the Clouds. You play this jolly flight attendant. Tell us a little bit about Pip in Christmas Above the Clouds.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. I've worked with Peter Benson before. We did a really fun film around, I want to say it was like Valentine's Day time last year. We did Return to Office together, and yeah, it was such a pleasure. And I got to audition for this show and get to work with Peter and, of course, Erin and Tyler, and had a really great time. The character, yeah, is the most exuberant, holly jolly version of myself that I can be, is probably the short answer for who Pip is.
So you star in Christmas Above the Clouds with Erin and Tyler Hines. How did you get involved in this project?
Yeah, well, as almost all of the projects I do, it starts with an audition. I have a great working relationship with Peter. He always asks me to audition for the shows that he's doing, which I'm always very grateful for. And yeah, we had a ton of fun on this project. Yeah, it was also the very first project I got to do. My partner and I, Laura, we just had a baby June 3rd, and I want to say it was maybe 2 weeks after that I was doing Christmas Above the Clouds. We were shooting, because of course it's a Christmas movie, so you shoot it in the middle of summer.
Absolutely.
Is quite often when Christmas movies happen. So when you see people in big warm woolen coats, look for the beads of sweat, because it's usually summer in Vancouver. But luckily, no heat domes or anything. I did a Christmas movie a few years back for, was it CBS? And it was all on a plane as well. It was a Christmas plane type film. And yes, planes can be very warm, but we were inside a studio, and it was lovely, very cool, air conditioning going on. So a much friendlier experience on this one.
So Pip is definitely, you embrace this role very well, a lot of excitement. I'm curious because you've mentioned Peter Benson. How much of, for those that haven't seen it, talk a little bit about Pip's nature and how much of that was like on the page versus that collaboration with Peter, because it was pretty over the top and it was fantastic.
Yeah, luckily, I think Peter trusts me enough to try some odd and strange things and come in with lots of offers. For Christmas Above the Clouds, it is very similar. I had a similar character in Return to Office that I did with Peter, and a lot of what I got to do in that show was fun improvisations, ridiculous props, basically me coming up to Peter and saying, hey, I have an idea, or just, do you mind if I do something weird this take? And Peter is always super collaborative and has a great sense of humor, and gives me free rein / probably more rope than probably is good for. But we had a ton of fun on this one. A lot of it is on the page. We had wonderful writers for this. A Christmas Carol is one of my favorite holiday stories. I think as far as Dickens' works goes, it's just such a classic, but structurally it's so good. And then the modernization of this was so spot on. It was so much fun. So to get to bring this very sort of goofy side, there were little moments of improvisation here and there, but a lot of it was off the page, and it was um, just oh, I can't say enough just how fun shooting this one was.
So there's a lot of, you've got some singing going on. You've got some, I think at one point we see you even on Erin Krakov's lap at one
Yes,
point.
that wasn't in the script. So
Okay.
that would be examples of I mean, my homework basically, I mean, A, be my holly jolliest self, and then B, what can I do to get on Erin's nerves the most? So it's very fun to get to play characters who are not self-aware.
Yeah.
I know on When Calls the Heart, I play Edwin Mitchell, who has very poor social skills and doesn't quite read people in situations always the best, and sort of is a my way or the highway type character. Similarly for Pip, less so a my way or the highway, but just assuming everyone is as joyful and as happy as them, and to just spread that Christmas cheer.
There's a part where you get up to give, or there's the overcome of the directions for being on the plane, and you have hand gestures for every direction. Did you come
Yes.
up with that on your own?
Yeah. So quite often in the scripts, there's sort of prompts that go on. So Pip does the in-flight. I'm trying to think of what the technical term, but
That's,
I don't
yeah,
travel a lot.
I don't either.
Yeah, sort of the in-flight demonstration. And again, I don't fly a lot, so I thought it would just be fun. Is like, what if I just come up with my own sort of in-flight hand gestures? I probably look more like a third base coach than probably a flight attendant. So I would do things, and then between a take, Peter might be like, "Hey, what about this for that?" Erin's very funny. It was such a treat to get to do this show because I don't have a lot of Elizabeth scenes in One
Yeah,
Calls the Heart.
yeah,
Everything I do is
yeah,
with Lucas. So I see Erin in passing mostly,
yeah.
and then for cast social gatherings. But this was like what a stellar scene partner, and just I mean, we all know one of the sweetest human beings you'll ever meet. But in terms of as a scene partner, just such a joy. And Erin would have little bits here and there, so we would be playing off of each other a lot, and it makes it very easy, especially when you have someone as great as Erin to play off of. You're never thinking, oh, what should I do next? Because you're always getting something back.
That's so interesting because I hadn't really thought about, you've been on When Calls the Heart for 3 seasons that we've seen
Mhm.
anyway, and I hadn't really thought about the fact that you haven't had very many scenes. Edwin hasn't had very many scenes with Elizabeth, so I hadn't even put that together. But yeah, that's interesting. You've got a moment where you are literally down in Ella's face. Did you get that in one take or did that take several times I mean, I can't imagine how she kept a straight face.
I believe if ever there are blooper type things released, there's some good ones on Christmas Above the Clouds. Uh, I remember there were a few of Erin just cracking the tiniest bit. Um, I want to say it might have taken 3 or 4 goes of it. Some of course, has been like, we can do it, we can get it, and
Yeah.
trying different things. But that one in particular was I was in very, very close popping Ella's personal bubble.
Did you channel any of your inner Edwin in any of this? Because there were moments where it felt a little bit Edwin-y.
Uh, it's funny. If I was not intentionally, which makes me wonder, it's like, ooh, I wonder how much Edwin is of just my own personality that gets mixed in there, and then with Pip, because at the end of the day, it's all me, and I'm trying to think, ooh, if that, I mean, that is again, Pip is me at my most holly jolliest, which doesn't come out too often. I do try and tone it down, but when you're excited and when it's Christmas, it's hard not to feel the joy. But yeah, I could see little bits in there. Probably, actually, now that I'm recalling it, I think when Erin comes back from the bathroom with the flotation, and they like,
Yes.
we have to focus on the safety of passengers. There's probably a little bit of having to put the foot down in there.
There was a moment where she comes back, the flotation device is inflated, and
Mhm.
Pip is kind of like, "Why is your flotation device inflated?" It was pretty comical.
Yeah.
So
And I'm sure some keen Hearties would have noticed we had Ryan in there, who's one of the stand-ins on When Calls the Heart, and was the passenger. And we had a few folks. There might be watch it again, stream it 3 or 4 more times, and see if you can spot some other Hope Valley residents just in the periphery.
this is interesting to me because, I was just on the Hallmark Christmas cruise. And so I watched Christmas Above the Clouds on the plane and was, in a way eager to get home.
What a great spot to watch Christmas Above the Clouds.
It works.
Like
Uh,
immersive theater. Yeah.
but I gotta say, like, I need to go back and really watch it because I just had a feeling with Peter Benson directing and of course Tyler and Erin being the leads that there had to be these little nuggets of things that we needed to pick up on. So clearly I need to do a rewatch and check out some of that.
I particularly enjoyed Peter's cameo.
Oh, of
Yeah,
course.
all my scenes were on the plane set, so I didn't get to go to some of the other locations. So I didn't get to see any of Peter's work in person. So it was a treat. My partner and I, the day after it aired, we watched it and streamed it, and it was a ton of fun. Yeah.
That plane set was pretty fantastic. I mean,
It was
very
so
realistic.
it was so good. I remember going. I'm always tickled when you get to go to a studio set. It always surprises me still after all these years of when you walk onto a set and ones where you can even be certain of like, this is a real doctor's office, or this is a thing when you watch the series on TV, and then you see it inside a studio and you go, I don't know I don't know what's real. Even certain outdoor sets on shows I've been on are outdoors. Uh, but the plane, absolute credit to the set crew, the production designers, everyone. They had the coolest thing was they had these windows and they had these like trickle effects. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like the moisture on the windows, and they had these like high powered fans, so they're like blowing in the right direction. They had all the lights that would they're practical effects. So when Ella would have the dream sequences,
Yes.
everything worked live and in person, which is always great as an actor to just have everything in that instant and you get to react with it as opposed to having a lot of effects and things sort of cheated in post and stuff. This was a really technical piece, and like credit to everyone involved.
It was amazing. I was just actually doing a review of the movie last night with another podcaster, and we were both talking about how many and how well done. I mean, it's one thing to have a lot of special effects, but when they're well done and they work, and you're not seeing, holes in the way that it was created or whatever, I was just blown away by the special effects that were in this movie and how well done they were.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a treat. It really was. The team that was assembled, all the different departments, everyone worked so efficiently, so well. I want to say when I was there, it was kind of near the end. It was maybe the last week of shooting. I was there for about 2 or 3 days, so I got to meet some of the other ghosts, but of course you get to meet all the crew, and I'm always a big fan, and I love to hang out with the props crew whenever I'm on set, and then getting all the fun little, because I had my little tray of goodies and things, and the antlers and the light up stuff, and uh, always trying to get more shtick into it wherever I can, especially when you get to do fun comedies.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you think of a funny behind the scenes moment that happened during filming?
Uh, the one that I would say was very fun, and I know we had to do several takes of it, was I was doing some improvisations with Erin, and I'm trying to remember exactly what I said, but the line, the Hanukkah above the horizon, gefilte fish stick
Yes.
special, that wasn't in the script. So
Oh,
there was a bunch of different, and I don't even know where they came from. They were just sort of like popping out of my head. So different um, non-denominational, secular sort of like meal plans that could also alternatively be served on this Christmas flight. So had a lot of fun with Erin, sort of workshopping some of those. And I was surprised we did get that one because I think there was a couple where either me trying to get, because I did it once and then it was such a tongue twister trying to get it out. I think there was a couple takes where I tripped over it a little bit, or when I would nail it, Erin would laugh. So it was one we went over a couple times, but Peter managed to edit in either me getting it exactly right or something that worked, and also without Erin laughing afterwards.
And
So
then I think her character Ella ended up picking that meal for.
she picked it up. Yeah. So even I'm trying to remember because I don't think I'm in the scene when she does go with it, but it's referenced later in the film as well. And I remember when I saw Erin. It was a little bit after the film, and she's like, "Oh, I saw the take and all of that. I got to see a cut of the edit," and she was like, "Gefilte fish is in," and it was just like, yes.
It was best. It was great. Okay, so let's talk about your favorite part. Favorite part of the movie?
Oh, favorite part. I mean, as much as I want to be entirely conceited and say like, all the things I did, but honestly, Aaron and Tyler, their chemistry in the movie, like it's exactly everything I want in a Hallmark film. My partner and I both loved it. It's just exactly that kind of feel good, and you know the story of A Christmas Carol, but I still, um, people are doing such a good job when everybody and their dog knows A Christmas Carol. You know how things are going to go. But
Yeah.
even when you're still like, oh, are they gonna, or like,
Mhm.
ooh, how's it gonna happen? Is that feeling of not knowing exactly. And I mean, I read the script as well, so
Yeah.
even more so, I know what's
Yeah.
happening. But being constantly surprised throughout it, and just absolutely tickled seeing how they brought it off the page. It was just such a great job.
It was so clever. I mean, you've got to be careful when you've got a classic like that to be able to try to pull something like that off. And just these subtle, callbacks to it, I thought were done so well.
Yes, and I'm uh, especially envious of the writers. I work as a playwright sometimes, and I've had different shows produced. I remember it would have been, I want to say, early pandemic. I was commissioned by a theater company to write an adaptation of A Christmas Carol, and I can say it was not very good. Tried to take some liberties and things, which did not pay off. But sometimes you take risks, sometimes you do things, and it doesn't always pan out. So watching this one, I really enjoyed just going like, there's a good adaptation. That's what you want to do. So can very much appreciate that.
Well, it was fantastic to watch. I know that Hallmark has got it scheduled for several more times on the
Oh,
Hallmark
lovely.
channel. Even, I believe, next Thursday, they're going to be showing it again, but several times throughout the holiday season. And of course, anybody can watch it right now on Hallmark Plus. So, and I
Yeah.
will definitely be going back to look for these little Easter eggs in the movie. So, great job in
Yeah.
that one. Love seeing Pip. So,
Yeah, everyone should watch it again, tell their friends, just like have it streaming on in the background when you're out of the room, for your pets when you're out of the house. Just like get those view counts up.
so you also play Edwin on When Calls the Heart, which
I
is
do,
just
yes.
3 seasons. Did you ever have any idea that I mean, looking at IMDb, I think this is like the longest series that you've, played a particular character at this point.
Yes, absolutely. It's uh I mean it's I know Cavan talks about it all the time, but it's just one of like the best shows you can be on in town in Vancouver. And everyone I talk to, it's not the biggest community in Vancouver in terms of film actors, and there's definitely the staples of shows like we do the CW and the Sci-Fi. There's Good Doc. There's all of these shows that are just staples in the city, but every single person who either has a day on When Calls the Heart, who has a full arc, anyone who gets to visit and play on the set, just raves about it. The
Mhm.
entire crew, the entire cast, everyone involved are just the kindest, sweetest, loveliest people. I mean, we're coming on 13 seasons now, so
Yes.
it is also the most well-oiled machine you will ever see. Everyone knows exactly what they're doing. And then if you come for the first time, everyone's so welcomed and everyone fits in. When I started on the show, I think I've mentioned this in some other interviews, but I was never supposed to come back. I was supposed to be a one and done character. come enjoy the hot springs and then get out of town. So every every time I get to come back and spend a day in Hope Valley is such a treat and such a gift. And it is, I have to say, just such a fun character to play,
Yeah.
especially someone who's so persnickety and grumpy. And playing flawed characters is always a really good time.
It was fun when Edwin first came on that character because there was a lot of mystery behind the character. So, is Edwin a good guy? Is Edwin a bad guy? But those hot spring scenes and the comedy that I brought, that it brought, I love that When Calls the Heart has started to tap in more to that comedy side. I mean, this cast is such a great cast when it comes to the comedy side of it. So to have Edwin kind of fit into that role as well, I'm sure that that played a part in, hey, we got to keep this guy around. So
Yeah, I mean, it's such a testament to the show. I want to say after my first season with When Calls the Heart, my partner Laura and I, we did an entire watch of the series. And it's such a feel-good show for, it's like one of those comfort shows, but right from that like very first season, which is a very different vibe, to where they are now. But it's such a great balance of you've got some drama, you've got some comedy. It's a show about community. I always tell people when they ask me about the show, if they haven't seen it before, one of my favorite genres of television is, I don't know how to describe it as a genre, but when people intentionally try to do good. So your Ted Lassos and your, to some degree, Star Trek. It's a,
yeah.
a civilization in the future, but they're just trying to do good. Not so much the anti-heroes, although shout out to Martin for being a little bit rough around the edges, but now has a heart of gold. But it's so, yeah, the balance of everything, it has a little bit of everything, and also this great ensemble cast. So you have all of these different tapestries of stories and people who come and go, and even just that sort of character of Hope Valley, because we're in the roaring 20s now,
Yeah. Yeah.
and seeing that evolve as well. So you get all of these different bits here and there. So it really is a show that has something for everyone.
Agreed. I agree. Edwin shows up in season 10.
Season 10, yeah.
What most intrigued you about that character when you came on to play Edwin?
I'd have to say, I remember getting the audition, and every once in a while, so for people who don't know the process of how actors get cast in shows, we have agents, but there's also these people called casting directors, and it's their job to work for the show, for the director, to find actors. And they basically send out these little email packages. So it says, this is the name of the character, this is their age, generally what they might look like, and here's a little paragraph or blurb about who they are. And every once in a while, one will come across my desk, and I'll read it, and I'll go, "Okay, yep, yep, that one, that's one." There's been a handful of times where just reading that initially and going, "Yeah, we got this one," and that was definitely one. I think. Did I post? No, that was something else. I think I still have the videos somewhere on a drive somewhere, but I had this old like wrestling one piece sort of spandex thing that I used as like my old timey bathing suit, which not too far off. And then just some old sort of periody type costume things that I had sort of lying around in the closet, but the sort of the dialect, the accent, the sort of general stuffiness came far too easy for me. I think it was a pretty quick turnaround. We usually have like maybe a day or two to put an audition together, but this one was one where it was like, I don't need to practice very hard. We can just throw this on film and uh, don't have to play around too much.
Meant to be. That's amazing. Meant to
Yes.
be. So joining a show in its 10th season means stepping into, and you've already talked about this, an ensemble that is just, they're a well-oiled machine. So how did you find your footing among a cast like that and the Hearties community?
Yeah. Well, part of it is, I mean, a lot of the cast members have either A, been there since the beginning, but even people who've sort of come along the way with like uh, Kevin and Chris, but have had like huge bodies of work along their careers as well. I've acted for a very long time, but mostly on stage. When Calls the Heart is one of my earlier sort of film television credits. So it's a lot of just learning from the people around as well. Because like every time you go on set, it's a learning opportunity. So I've learned a lot from working with the cast. But honestly, from the very first day, um, everyone was so warm and so welcoming and so friendly. It can be very tricky sometimes jumping into roles, especially ones that you're just sort of there for one episode and then you take off. It's kind of like going to a new school. You don't really
Hmm.
know anyone there. You might be like, okay, where are the band geeks? I'll maybe hang out
Hmm.
with them or sort of later in the drama room. But everyone was really welcoming, and because they know so much what the tone of the show is, what they're doing, it can be articulated really well. And there's always a really solid team of directors, no matter what block of the season it is. Uh, they're collaborative. They're so knowledgeable and well versed in what they do that you're really taken care of
Yeah,
on that set.
yeah.
And
So go ahead.
oh yeah, the other thing I'll say, and any of the Hardys who have attended the family reunion, it's an actual town. You
Yeah.
get to go. So I was talking earlier about being on sets and studios, and it's maybe like half of a building. It's a wall or like a little couple of flats, but it is an entire little western town that you get to play in, and like my inner child just goes like, ooh, when you get that. It's like if if anyone has ever traveled in British Columbia, there's a little sort of pioneer town up north, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. And I went there as a kid, and it reminded me a lot like that. And it was one of my favorite family vacations. Uh, I want to say Drumheller, but that's in Alberta, and that's to do with dinosaurs, not prospecting. I'll maybe by the end of the interview I'll remember it, and I'm sure someone on YouTube is typing
It's this
frantically,
is what it is.
frantically typing into the comments, going like, "Oh, you mean Barkerville? Ha, that's what
Is
it's
that
called."
it?
Barkerville, yes.
Yeah.
I'm 79%. I'm never 100% certain. I have a terrible memory. But pretty sure Barkerville is a little gold prospecty town and very sort of Hope Valley vibes. There's like a little
Yeah.
church and like a one-room schoolhouse and uh, all those different things. So it's very much like stepping into the past. So a lot of that work you do as an actor of trying to immerse yourself in something is a lot of the work is done before you even get there.
Hmm. I got to go to Jamestown last year for HFR.
Ah.
And it was fantastic because it's like you watch the show, I've seen every season, and it's not until and this is just me, until I step onto that set that now it's like when I watch it, when I watched season 12 after having been there, I literally can see where everybody is, standing in the town. It makes a lot more sense. We've got to figure out a way, because I know HFR is always limited. There's always so many people they have to turn away,
Mhm.
that want to go that can't go, and we've got to figure out how to get more people there, because honestly it just added a whole nother level of viewing enjoyment for me, being able to go, okay, I know where the saloon is in relation to the Mountie office. It's fantastic, a fantastic place.
And that knowledge also it trickles down into the people who make the show as well because Sarah, who's one of the production
Yeah.
designers on the show, we went to school together and we've chatted in the past where um, whether it's Easter eggs, whether it's tiny little details, the Hearties notice
Oh
and
yeah.
like the keen eye that people have. And I've had times on set where sorry, I have a very panty dog right now. She's very hello. It's very good to see you.
We
You
welcome
can
all
well
guests.
yeah, we'll say hello in a moment. But do you want to lie down? Or you want to say hello or do you want to lie down? I'm in the middle of this interview, but I love you. The I remember one time we were doing a scene and it was one of those like in the middle of the town square in front of Yos. And oh, okay, we have a visitor. Hi. Hi. Do you want to come?
Come say
You're,
hi. Come say
I
hi.
can't you can't compete with an animal. You can't. Okay, come on. There you go. Yeah, come over. Oh, and knocking things down. You're okay. Okay. That's thank you. Thank you very much. This is Olivia, and she just likes to snuggle.
I love it.
Uh, so, in the middle of the town square, and I can't remember, it was either Jada or Kevin or someone was coming from somewhere, and it was established earlier where they were coming from. And the way we had set up the cameras, they were coming from the wrong direction. And
Oh,
I think someone said, like, oh, well, do we, like, it would make more sense just visually if they come from here. And I think it was the director. I wish I could remember which director it was, but they basically were like, absolutely not.
not.
People will
Oh
know
no.
where they were coming from. And it's a testament to the amount of care and detail that the creators of the show put into it, and it's that peek behind the curtain. It's there's not a lot we can get away with in that case.
It's amazing to me having talked to Sarah, and she is fantastic. Like
Yeah.
some of the set designs that were created these last couple of seasons, where she just
Oh,
has to go with her team over the top to create Union City right there in Jamestown so that nobody can figure out exactly, where she's put on a new facade. The amount of work that goes into just making sure that people believe that it's literally a different city is amazing to me. And she pulls
yeah.
it off.
Yeah, the last season, I know the movie theater was really
Yes.
exciting.
Yeah.
Where they did where they had the little 1920s party.
The mansion party in the church, like in the
Yeah,
schoolhouse.
I was around for some other stuff that was shooting. I mean, everyone talks about the train. The train was incredible. There was live projections and like the background and all of that that was happening. There were people
Moving.
jostling, moving
Yes.
the set so that it would keep moving. Um, it's so cool to see that kind of thing come together. And the really incredible part is figuring out solutions to problems, like finding that sort of like movement of the train. And sometimes the best answer is like, well, we'll just make it a little wobbly there and like people can sort of like shake it or do whatever they need to do. Is like it's just so much fun. It's so
Yeah.
much fun to see that and how many people are physically involved in making it
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. So you mentioned the train, and I definitely wanted to bring this up. I mean, there's so many amazing moments in these seasons, and just reflecting back on season 12, two of my favorite scenes in season 12. One of them was when Edwin shows up at the train door. Lucas and Lee are having a conversation, and Edwin kind of invites himself in to the cabin. Can you talk about that scene a little bit? I just loved even watching that, Edwin sweeps in and Lee's absolutely annoyed. But it was one of my favorite scenes to watch the dynamic of you three.
Yeah, Cavan's one of my favorite people on set, behind the scenes and also in front of the camera. I mean, I love all of the Lee and Rosemary storylines, and this was a new dynamic that hadn't been explored in some of the past seasons that I had been on. But it really lent itself well for comedy because I mean comedy sort of at the heart of it is just conflict. It's things not going right. When good things happen to good people, it's really bad for comedy. But when bad things happen to everyone, it's good for a laugh. So to have Edwin get to have these interactions with Lee, who does not suffer fools, um, was a treat because, again, with such a large ensemble cast, the writers get to have a lot of fun with, like, well, what happens if we put so and so there? What if we mix things up a little bit? Um, and for me, especially after the way I had left in the last season, kind of just jumping ship and taking off, and then another fun with the Henry Gowan, someone who very much does not suffer fools and can kind of see through Edwin. Yeah, I mean, it would make my heart very happy if, over the course of the series, if Edwin can find a way to annoy every single resident in Hope Valley. I can rest the role and go, yes, my job is done. Everyone's day has been ruined by Edwin at one time or another. But the train was, it's also such tight quarters. I don't know how spacious, I'm trying to remember how spacious it looked in the shooting of it, but which can be a little bit deceiving on camera to how it actually is.
It's pretty tight. It's pretty tight.
And again, very, very similar to, oh, I guess there's some more Edwinism in there. When figuring out the blocking, it's that, well, how can I be the biggest thorn in this person's side? And like
Yeah,
quite
Edwin
often,
was up in his business.
yeah.
It was,
Yeah, I appreciate my own personal space. So if I get to make a character choice of like, what would I really not like? Well, let's get right up in Lee's as close as possible. Yeah, and that's when you have to make sure that you don't choose the garlicky option on the lunch truck that day and keep lots of Dentine ice and breath mints in your pocket.
See, we've talked, about that's more of a comedic moment. There is, and this is one of my favorite scenes in season 12. In the next episode, Lee and Lucas go at it. So definitely not a comedic moment. Edwin is kind of standing back. I'm maybe a little bit like, okay, I'm just going to stay out of this. And so Edwin doesn't say a whole lot, but that scene and that delivery between Lucas and Lee, I was like, that is one of my favorite scenes. Honestly, I think I've seen on the show, just because it really allowed the two of them to just show their capacity to, that scene to me was rich. And when I watched it again, even last night, I'm watching I'm watching Edwin, and it was just kind of like, okay, we're just going to let this play out.
Yeah, I mean, speaking as a polite Canadian, conflict can be uncomfortable, but also I like to think the political mind of Edwin is knowing when to talk, but more importantly, knowing when not to talk. And I always appreciate when Chris gets to do those types of scenes on the series, and I find it especially hits because. I mean, you read it about a lot. It's hard for men to find friends. So when you lose those friends, it's sort of like, no, but you both want the same thing. No, why is this happening? So that arc in the season, it was, yeah, that was one of my favorite parts. And just seeing how they kind of got apart, how they came back together, the conflict around the national park, but then also Lucas trying to play the politics game. I mean, I always find that to be a really interesting part of the storyline because Hope Valley is such an unbureaucratic place because you need something, a neighbor's going to help out, whereas the more the scope of Hope Valley grows beyond Capital City, grows to the rest of the sort of surrounding counties, etc., things have to be sort of done not just the Hope Valley way, but the other ways, and seeing how the characters sort of react to that.
Yeah. Edwin, in a way, introduces Lucas to Edie, and I don't want to get this wrong. Edwin calls her a shark, a barracuda.
Yes.
Right?
But as a compliment.
But as a compliment, right? Like, don't mess with her. Would you say that Edwin is Team Edie at this point?
Oh, that's an excellent question. I've played around with that, especially it can be interesting doing the show because the scripts, they don't all come out in like one big giant binder and going like, oh, okay, this was happening in episode 12, so I know this. So quite often when I'm getting scripts, they're coming out an episode at a time or a block at a time. What's really great sometimes about characters is not knowing how you feel about certain people. So it was that constant being, and I know a lot of people reading the comments and hearing the feedback who weren't sure about Edwin to begin with, being like,
That's
what's his
it.
deal? Did he shoot
Is
Lucas?
he the
So all of
one?
the, is he the one who's behind the things? And especially with Edie's like, do they know something about these coins? What's the deal with the uncle? It's always fun the way they'll tease out new characters. That keeps you just going, what? I don't know how I
Yeah,
feel about you.
yeah, yeah.
I think it's very easy for Edwin to not know how he feels about people, but I'm sure there's more of a more of a lean towards not necessarily enjoying folks who you can't necessarily control
Yeah,
or
yeah,
anticipate.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Edwin seems to kind of know what he wants and
Yes.
insert himself back when it's because
Mhm.
he has his own agenda as well, I would say.
Yeah.
Favorite scene that you have played so far as Edwin?
Oh, I feel like that should just be a question that I just have a ready answer to, but I'm really gonna have to think about that one. There's been a lot. I mean, the early on Hot Springs, lots of room for comedy there. Working with the kids was a ton of fun. They're a great time. I've really enjoyed the scenes that I've got to do with Martin, um, and those dramatic scenes with Chris. Again, I think any scene where there is the most room for tension and uncomfortableness are going to be my favorites. Yeah, I remember really enjoying the one where I'm leaving town and getting to deal with Martin. And there's one where one of my favorite scenes is with Chris. I can't remember the episode, but it was trying to, it was with the resort when they were trying to find people to invest in it. And
Yes.
I'm trying to remember it was
Oh my
mm,
goodness.
oh, I almost want to just like what was the name of
I know I'm doing it
yeah.
because I
Is it
mean I'm
Ben
editing.
Wilkinson? Ben Wilkinson is the actor, and he's like my neighbor.
Hold on.
Um,
I'm editing this anyway, so we're gonna figure it out.
ah, or I say just keep it in so people can just yell at the screen like a
Yell at
sports
everybody
game.
right
This is
now.
the sports equivalent for people who enjoy
Oh,
historical
oh,
dramas.
I'm looking at the picture. It's
Yes,
um it starts with an M, two syllables,
Montague.
three syllables.
Um, but it's is it something Montague or
It's
Monty?
Montague. Just call him Montague.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Monty. Yeah, Monty. I think we call him Montague. But yeah.
Montague.
Um,
I'll go ahead and get the full name just so we can basically solidify this right now. Bernhardt Montague.
Bernhardt. There we
And
go.
everybody's been yelling
Also,
at us for the last 30 seconds.
what a great villain name, Bernhardt Montague.
Bernhardt Montague.
Yeah. Also, if
Yeah.
you're watching this, Ben, sorry, I forgot, but yeah, but yeah, good guy. We live on the street. We used to carpool to set. It was great.
There you
Yeah.
go. So there's been talk, and I even want an interview, and I know you can't talk about season 13. I don't want to I don't want to put you in that position, but how do
Yeah.
we keep Edwin in Hope Valley if Lucas ends up staying in Hope Valley?
Um, that's an excellent question. I'd say write the showrunners, write
Okay.
Hallmark, send your letters, call your governor and local representative. No, in order of keep. I mean, as folks who have done the family reunion know, there's a couple empty shops on that street. No reason why Edwin couldn't open a little boutique or pawn shop or competing bookstore to the library. You know, go capitalism, take that. Books for Hope Valley resident. I'm trying to think of
He didn't
where
want a national park, he
didn't
really
want a
wanted
national
the
park.
resort. So
I
maybe he could
mean,
open up a
he
travel agency,
a
something
travel
like
agency. I mean, the man loves a good hot springs. Could be an early proprietor of cold plunge hot spring sort of boutiques. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of. I mean, my favorite thing would just be just because, again, tension and hardship makes for comedy, is just losing it all. The more Edwin can hit rock bottom, yeah. I mean, Hickham's married and all of that. Someone has to do the odd jobs around Hope Valley now. And I mean, we never quite distinguish what Edwin's job technically is. So he
Yeah.
could just be one of those chronically unemployed people. He's
Yeah.
probably checking the classifieds and the Valley Voice any chance he gets. Just
So
looking
it's
for, yeah.
there's always, and everybody has 5 or 6 jobs, so
Everybody
they
has five
can
or
make
six
it work.
jobs. Yeah.
So assuming we get to keep Edwin around in Hope Valley, who is somebody that you haven't worked with enough that you would like to maybe have some scenes with?
Ooh, I mean, again, when my brain goes to like, who could Edwin annoy? I haven't worked with Viv, but Viv is lovely.
Yeah.
And I mean, there is a character who I don't know if I've seen them. I mean, there's the storyline with their brother, where it was more about like, we don't talk about that, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to think if I've ever seen him mad on the show or gone like, ugh, this person, I can't stand them.
Yeah.
So I feel like there'd be some fun to have there. But also, I'm also riding on the high of Christmas Above the Clouds. Getting to work with Erin would
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
certainly a treat.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I can think of is if anyone were to join forces, I'm sure that Rosemary and Edwin would find some sort of common cause, like, let's open a Gilbert and Sullivan Society
Love
or
it.
something ridiculous. I mean, that theater hasn't been built yet. So
Mm,
how many seasons ago was Rosemary promised that theater?
yes.
I mean, where are you going to put a theater in Jamestown? But there's got to be. Well, they did have the importance of being earnest productions, so I mean,
Yeah.
they're like halfway there.
You've got the big, office down there on the end where, you
Yeah,
create all
yeah.
it's doable.
I mean, I'm a big fan of site-specific theater, so I mean, Hope Valley just needs to start a fringe festival. As long as they're doing choral festivals and all the rest of this, a little
Yeah.
annual fringe festival, get some like visiting artists. Yeah, they could work something out.
Well, we're just 2 months away. They just announced that When Calls the Heart season
That's
13
right.
is coming
That's
back in
right.
January. So it's
Yeah.
not that far away. I think we all were wondering how in the world there was such a shorter gap between seasons 11 and 12 than between 12 and 13. And we were like, how are we
Mhm.
going to make it? But here we are, just 2 months away. So
Yeah. All the big announcements right now
I
with the One
know.
Calls the Hearts folks. Exciting things. Exciting
Lots of
things.
things. Yeah. So hopefully we'll
Yeah.
see Edwin back in season 13. You've got other
Yeah.
projects and other things going on. Talk a little bit about it. I know you can't say too much, but you just wrapped up production on a movie. What can you tell us about that?
Yes. I'm playing a lead in a reboot of a series that I loved growing up. So it was a real treat to get to be in Air Bud Returns. So getting to be a bit of my ne'er-do-well self, and I'm sure if we have not edited things out, I love my dogs. So getting to spend some time with some really lovely golden retrievers, some really fantastic actors, and getting to be a part of this very established franchise. I think technically the 15th movie in the sort of hierarchy of Air Bud movies, but this will be the first one in about 20 years that's going to be a theatrical release. So really exciting, some great people involved, and as well, no exact date yet, but early 2026, I'll be joining the cast of the reboot of Malcolm in the Middle as well.
Nice.
So we'll get a couple episodes there. Again, a character I can't mention yet, but getting to join the motley crew of the world of Malcolm in the Middle with Linwood Boomer, the creator, and Ken Kwapis, who directed the episode. So That too is going to be really exciting and a thing to look forward to in 2026.
That's fantastic. Wow, that's exciting. So I always like to ask this question, and you can just do first thing that comes to mind. What's a project that we need to go back and check out that you're proud of?
Oh, great question. Hmm. Now, I'll say because there are two fan bases that have just been the loveliest and most wonderful, and that's the Hearties, hands down. And then I was on this one series in Vancouver called DC's Legends of Tomorrow, where I played this sort of like alternate universe, very sad Mr. Rogers kind of character, and just did a convention for that show back in September. And such lovely fans. I feel like them and like Hardy's fans would get along so well because they're such positive fan bases.
Yeah.
It's people who just love the show. And I mean, uh, Legends of Tomorrow is such a ridiculous romp. And in a world where there's a lot of superhero content, theirs was, in a lot of ways, super wholesome, very community based, large ensemble cast. I'm sure there's a Venn diagram of someone who really likes When Calls the Heart, who, if they
Mm,
discovered DC's Legends of Tomorrow, and again, a show that the first season, very different tone.
interesting.
And then it becomes very comical, light, and then sort of a mix of things. Yeah, that would be another one to check out from the past.
Okay.
And then I also have to remember I got to plug one more upcoming, the movie Eternity with Miles Teller and Elizabeth Olsen. There will be a moment at some point in the movie where if you are not blinking or going to the bathroom, you might just see me.
Nice. I love it. I also love, you mentioned this earlier that before you came on When Calls the Heart, you went back and watched every season. Good for you.
Yes. I mean, there's the part of me that when I start something like that, it's like, well, this is research. I got to figure out what
Yeah.
is the tone of the show. Because
Yeah.
I had watched all of season, it was either 8 or 9 before my first day on set, being like, okay, what's going on here? What do I need
Yeah.
to know? But when I did the full series watch, it started out as like, okay, here's my homework. But then Laura and I were both into it. It's like, no, we're watching this.
We're
We're
in. Yeah.
invested. We're involved. We're in.
Yeah.
So, uh, and it's always a treat for me when the shows start dropping. If there's episodes I'm not in, it's like, oh, what's going on? I get to be a fan and just
You're a
watch the show.
Hardy. You're a Hardy right
I'm
there
a
with the
Hardy.
rest
I'm a
of us.
Hardy at heart. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So, where can everybody follow you to stay up to date on all of the projects and the things that you've got going on?
Yeah, I am so bad at social media. I'm trying to get better at it. It's gonna be my 2026 New Year's resolution. Instagram, he said questioningly. I mean, I think I had like 3 posts last year. I mean, it's still more than Kevin, so I've got that
Exactly.
going. Yeah,
You do. You got it.
yeah. So as long as I beat Kevin, I guess I'm doing amazing at social media. But I don't do Twitter.
300% better.
Yeah, I mean, I could never compete. I don't post on Twitter, but I do enjoy. Actually, here's who I'm going to plug is if you don't follow Ben on Twitter, Ben will live tweet every time there's an episode. Also, Christmas Above the Clouds, all of his commentary is 10 out of 10 content. His meme game is strong, as the kids would say. The kids don't say that, but yeah, I always enjoy. I know I'm talking about my social media, but honestly, there's some really strong in the rest of the cast, and Ben's always makes me laugh.
I'm excited to see with Ben's movie coming up what
Yeah,
he's already got scheduled in Twitter. So that'll be
yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, also Andrea's Instagram. 'Cause I'm gonna plug everybody else's social
Do it.
media. Andrea and Andrew, who's in production, and there's some other people who I know I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but they just did this massive fundraiser where different shows in Vancouver compete for the Greater Vancouver Food Bank. Andrea spearheads that in the cast group chat. She's texting in between challenges and things. We're getting messages all the time, but for like the most amazing cause. And everyone's doing really fun content
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So if you don't follow Andrea on Instagram, also her kids are so cute. You got like great content there. Yeah. And also Kayla,
Mm,
their Instagram, they were
big news
just in
right
like
now.
big news right now. Congratulations to those two. How much fun is that? Because was that announced on the cruise?
No, it was not
Was it?
announced on the
It wasn't
cruise.
announced on the cruise.
No, what I will say this
They
that was
getting
cool.
married was announced on the a cruise, was it, or was it
No,
an
at
event or something?
HFR, at
Oh,
HFR.
that's HFR. Oh, there you
Yes.
go.
So now
Yeah.
some of us knew that, he was going to be jetting to meet her after the cruise. But here's the
Okay.
deal. Everybody knew if everybody knows if there's news, you got to own your own news, right? So you got
Yeah.
to get it out there before the media gets it. So
Mhm.
how awesome for them. What did get out there at Hallmark Christmas Cruise tied to the fundraiser that was fantastic was Kevin had several of the cast sign a really cool sweatshirt.
Oh, that's right.
And the most hysterical thing happened. One of my friends who loves the Hearties, she actually won the sweatshirt. They figured out she was going to be on the cruise. He packed it. He forgot to pack an ugly Christmas sweater, so he was going to have to wear it. But right before he went up on stage, they exchanged, and he took her ugly Christmas sweater that was,
Amazing.
sleeveless, tied around, fit the perfect 6'3" guy. It was unbelievably hysterical. It
I'm
could
gonna be looking Google Images for
it's
that.
it could not
Yeah.
have went any better. It was
Mhm.
so funny. So
Yeah.
that exchange was nice.
Yeah. But so excited for them. And then yeah, people should follow Kayla on Instagram because she just did, what was it, the Paris Fashion Week?
Yeah.
That and then like the Landman opening, like amazing outfits.
Yeah.
Amazing outfits. So yeah. See, I'm saying all of this about other people's Instagrams, and now I'm going like, "Ugh, man, I really gotta step mine up. I gotta do something here.
I'll
I
message you
can't.
every once in a while and
Yeah,
say, "Here, post this." How's
yeah.
that?
I can't just beat Cab. Maybe I'll team up with Cabin. We'll keep each other honest, like friends who work out together. We'll be like, hey, Cabin, post something online.
Oh, I love it. Well, it has been fantastic to talk with you. I'm so excited to go back and rewatch Christmas Above the Clouds. So, for those of
Yay.
you that haven't seen it, you can go watch it on Hallmark Plus right now. And then it is going to be airing on Hallmark Channel again. So, if you just do a little Google search and do Christmas Above the Clouds Hallmark Channel, it'll give you a schedule. There's at least 6 or 7 times already scheduled to check it out. And then we'll be looking for your other projects coming in 2026. And hopefully, when January 2026 comes around, we see some more Edwin in Hope Valley. So,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I can't say. Well, it'll be a treat. Yeah, I'll be watching
Well,
with y'all.
there you go. Thank you so much for being here, Eric. It's been great to talk to you.
Thanks so much.
All right. Bye bye.